The Arizona sun beat down mercilessly on the cracked asphalt of Maryvale, a working-class neighborhood on the west side of Phoenix where dreams came to die slowly under the relentless desert heat. It was a Saturday afternoon in late June, and the temperature had already climbed past 110 degrees, the kind of heat that made the air shimmer and turned car steering wheels into branding irons. Tyler Matthews pressed his small frame against the side of a dumpster in the alley behind his apartment complex, his chest heaving as he tried to catch his breath. Tears streamed down his dirt-smudged cheeks, mixing with the sweat that soaked through his faded Phoenix Suns t-shirt. His bare feet were scraped and bleeding from running across scorching pavement without shoes. At 11 years old, Tyler had learned to recognize the signs when Derek Coleman, his stepfather, was about to explode. The smell of cheap whiskey, the way Derek's jaw clenched when he watched sports, the dangerous quiet that fell over their cramped two-bedroom apartment before the storm. But today had been different. Today, Derek hadn't just thrown things or punched walls. Tyler had watched in horror from his bedroom doorway as Derek's massive hand connected with his mother's face, sending Jennifer Matthews crashing into the kitchen table. The sound of her body hitting the cheap laminate furniture would echo in Tyler's nightmares for years to come. "You think you can disrespect me in my own house?" Derek's voice had been ice cold, terrifying in its controlled fury. "You think you can question where I was last night?" Jennifer had tried to protect her face with her hands, her voice breaking. "Derek, please. Tyler's home. Don't do this in front of..." The second blow had been harder. Tyler remembered his mother's cry of pain, the way her body crumpled. Something inside the boy had snapped. Without thinking, he'd grabbed his mother's cell phone from the counter and run. Just run. Out the door, down the stairs, through the parking lot, his feet barely touching the ground. Derek's roar had followed him. "Get back here, you little rat! You're dead when I find you!" Now, 15 minutes later, Tyler's lungs burned as he peered around the dumpster. His mother's phone was clutched in his trembling hands, but he hadn't called 911. He'd tried that before, 6 months ago, after Derek had broken his mother's arm. The police had come, taken statements, and Derek had spent one night in jail. He'd returned the next evening with flowers and apologies, and Jennifer, worn down by years of manipulation and fear, had refused to press charges. Derek's brother was a lawyer, and he'd made it clear that if Jennifer pursued any legal action, he'd make sure she lost custody of Tyler. The boy's heart hammered against his ribs as he heard the distant sound of Derek's truck starting up. He was coming to look for him. Tyler knew every street in this neighborhood, every hiding spot, but Derek knew them too. He'd lived here for 3 years, long enough to map out every corner where a scared kid might run. Tyler's legs felt like jelly, but he forced himself to move. He couldn't go back, not yet, not until Derek calmed down, which could take hours or days. He ran west, toward Grand Avenue, his bare feet leaving small bloody prints on the hot concrete. The strip malls and rundown businesses blurred past him as panic drove him forward. That's when he saw them. At the corner Shell station, right where Grand Avenue met 67th Avenue, a group of motorcycles sat in a semicircle near the gas pumps. 7 of them, all chrome and black leather and rumbling engines. The bikers stood in a cluster talking and laughing, their leather vests emblazoned with a patch that showed a scorpion rising from desert sand. Above the image, curved letters spelled out Desert Riders MC. Below it, Phoenix Chapter. Tyler had seen them before, riding through the neighborhood in formation, their bikes roaring like thunder. His mother had always pulled him away, warning him to stay clear of those kinds of people. But right now, with Derek's truck somewhere behind him and nowhere else to turn, these leather-clad strangers represented something Tyler desperately needed. Protection. His feet carried him toward them before his brain could process the decision. As he got closer, he could make out details. The man at the center of the group was huge, at least 6'4", with a gray-streaked beard and arms covered in intricate tattoos. A leather vest stretched across his broad chest, and on the front, Tyler could see a patch that read, President. The big man noticed Tyler first. His conversation stopped mid-sentence as he took in the sight of the crying, bleeding child stumbling toward them. His expression shifted instantly from casual friendliness to alert concern. Kid! The man's voice was deep and gravelly, but not unkind. Hey, kid, what's wrong? Tyler's legs finally gave out about 10 feet from the group. He collapsed to his knees on the hot concrete, sobs racking his small body. The phone slipped from his hands and clattered across the ground. In seconds, the big man was kneeling beside him, one massive hand hovering near Tyler's shoulder, but not quite touching, as if he understood the boy might flinch from contact. Easy there, son. You're safe now. What happened? Are you hurt? Please, Tyler gasped between sobs, his voice barely audible. Please help my mom. He's going to kill her. He's going to kill us both. The other bikers had formed a protective circle around them now. A younger man with a hawk tattooed on his neck crouched down on Tyler's other side. Who's going to kill you, buddy? Tell us what's going on. Derek, Tyler managed to say. My stepdad. He was hitting her. He was hitting my mom so bad. I took her phone and ran, but he's coming. He's out looking for me right now, and when he finds me... His voice broke again. The big man's jaw tightened. He exchanged a look with the others that Tyler couldn't quite interpret, but he saw something harden in the man's eyes. What's your name, son? Tyler. Tyler Matthews. Tyler, I'm Marcus Davidson, but everyone calls me Bear. This here is Jackson Miller. We call him Hawk. He gestured to the man with the neck tattoo. You did the right thing running. You did the brave thing. Now I need you to tell me exactly where you live and what this Derek looks like. The Sonora Vista Apartments, Tyler said, pointing back the way he'd come. The tan buildings on 69th Avenue. Derek drives a black Ford F-150, really loud exhaust. He's big like you, but meaner looking. He's got a goatee and he's wearing a red Cardinals jersey. The roar of a truck engine cut through the air. Tyler's head snapped up, his eyes going wide with terror. About a block away, a black F-150 had just turned onto Grand Avenue, prowling slowly down the street. That's him, Tyler whispered, his whole body starting to shake. That's him. Please don't let him take me, please. Bear's hand finally settled on Tyler's shoulder, firm and reassuring. Listen to me very carefully, Tyler. That man is not going to touch you. Not today, not ever again. Or get the kid inside the convenience store and stay with him. Everybody else, time to have a conversation with this Derek gentleman. Hawk gently helped Tyler to his feet and guided him toward the store entrance. Come on, buddy, let's get you some water and clean up those feet. As Tyler stumbled into the blessed air conditioning of the convenience store, he turned to look back through the glass doors. Bear and the other 5 bikers had formed a line across the entrance to the gas station. Their casual friendliness had vanished, replaced by something that looked like controlled violence barely held in check. The black F-150 pulled into the station and jerked to a stop. Derek Coleman climbed out, his face flushed red with rage and alcohol. At 6'2" and 230 pounds, Derek was used to being the biggest, most intimidating man in any situation. He'd played defensive line at Arizona State University for 2 years before dropping out, and he still carried himself with the swagger of someone who could physically dominate anyone who crossed him. But as he stepped toward the line of bikers, his swagger faltered slightly. Bear alone matched him in size, and the others, while not as tall, had the lean, dangerous look of men who'd been in more real fights than Derek could imagine. I'm looking for a kid, Derek said, trying to maintain his aggressive tone. About 11, skinny, brown hair, ran off from home. You seen him? Bear took a step forward, his arms crossed over his chest. Maybe. Depends on why you're looking for him. That's none of your damn business, Derek snapped. He's my stepson, took his mother's phone and ran off during an argument. I need to get him home. An argument. Bear's voice was flat, neutral. That what you call it when you beat a woman unconscious? Derek's eyes narrowed. Like I said, none of your business. Now, where's the kid? See? That's where you're wrong, friend. Bear's tone remained calm, almost conversational, which somehow made it more threatening. When a child runs barefoot through 110-degree heat, crying and bleeding and begging strangers for help because his stepdad is going to kill him and his mother, that becomes everybody's business. You don't know what you're talking about, Derek said, but his voice had lost some of its certainty. The kid's dramatic, him and his mother both. Now I'm going to ask you one more time. And I'm going to tell you one more time, Bear interrupted, his voice dropping to a dangerous growl. You're not getting near that boy, not today. What you're going to do is get back in your truck and drive home. And when you get there, you're going to pack your things and leave that apartment. Because if I hear that you've so much as looked at Jennifer or Tyler Matthews wrong again, you and I are going to have a very different kind of conversation. Derek laughed, but it sounded forced. Are you threatening me? You know who my brother is? He's a lawyer. He'll have all you biker trash in prison before. Your brother is Vincent Coleman, works at Hammond and Associates downtown, Bear said calmly. I know exactly who he is. I also know that 3 months ago, you were arrested for assault at Lucky Seven's bar on Bell Road. Your brother got the charges dropped. 2 years before that, you were investigated for domestic violence at a previous address in Glendale. Those charges also disappeared. Seems like your brother's been pretty busy keeping you out of trouble. Derek's face went pale. How do you... I've got friends too, Bear said. The difference is, my friends include people who care about what happens to women and children in this community. Now, I'm going to give you a choice, Derek. You can walk away right now, go home, pack your things, and leave. Or we can wait here together until the police arrive, and I can introduce you to Officer Amanda Rodriguez. She's a specialist in domestic violence cases, and she's been very interested in your file. From inside the convenience store, Tyler watched with wide eyes. Hawk had gotten him a bottle of water and was using wet paper towels to clean the cuts on his feet. But the boy couldn't look away from the confrontation outside. Derek was shouting now, jabbing his finger at Bear's chest. You've got no right at all. I'll sue you. I'll have your whole club shut down. You'll do nothing, Bear said quietly. Because if you make a scene, if you try anything, I've got a convenience store full of security cameras recording every word of this conversation. I've got 7 witnesses who will testify that you just admitted to coming here to retrieve a child who ran away in fear for his life. And I've got a boy inside that store who's going to tell his story to someone who will actually listen this time. The standoff lasted another 30 seconds, though to Tyler it felt like hours. Finally, Derek's shoulders sagged slightly. He pointed at the convenience store, his voice shaking with impotent rage. Tell that little brat he just destroyed his mother's life. Tell him everything that happens now is his fault. Get out of here, Bear said, his voice hard as iron. Now. Derek climbed back into his truck, slammed the door hard enough to make the whole vehicle shake, and peeled out of the gas station with a screech of tires. The bikers watched until the F-150 disappeared down Grand Avenue. Bear turned and walked into the convenience store, his expression softening as he approached Tyler. He's gone, son. But we need to make sure he stays gone. We need to get you somewhere safe and check on your mother. Can you give me your address? Tyler nodded, fresh tears spilling down his cheeks. But this time, they weren't just tears of fear. Mixed in was something he hadn't felt in 3 years. Hope. The Desert Riders MC Clubhouse sat on a 2-acre property on the outskirts of Phoenix, in a dusty stretch of land between the city proper and the endless expanse of the Sonoran Desert. The building itself was unremarkable, a low-slung structure of concrete block and corrugated metal that had once been a warehouse, but inside it served as headquarters, meeting hall, and sanctuary for a brotherhood that stretched back 30 years. Marcus Bear Davidson sat in the president's chair at the head of a long wooden table, scarred with decades of use, his phone pressed to his ear. Tyler Matthews sat on a worn leather couch across the room, wrapped in a blanket despite the heat, sipping hot chocolate that Hawk's wife, Maria, had pressed into his hands. The boy hadn't stopped shaking since they'd brought him here an hour ago. "I understand, Amanda," Bear said into the phone. "Yes, he's safe. He's with me at the clubhouse." "No, the stepfather didn't make contact. We intercepted." I know. That's why I'm calling you. We need this done right. 20 minutes? We'll be here." He ended the call and looked across the table at the 5 other members who'd been at the gas station. Hawk sat to his right, arms crossed, his jaw tight. The others, Tommy Clutch Richardson, Diego Dice Vargas, Kenneth Ken Burton, and Matthew Mac Donnelly, all wore similar expressions of controlled anger. "Amanda Rodriguez is on her way," Bear said. "She's bringing a unit to check on the mother, and she wants to interview Tyler. This goes by the book now. We've done our part getting the kids somewhere safe. The rest has to be official." "What about Derek?" Hawk asked, his voice tight. "He just goes home, probably taking out what we did on the mother right now." "Amanda's sending a unit to the apartment first," Bear replied. "Officers will be there in 5 minutes. They'll secure the scene and check on Jennifer Matthews. If Derek's there, they'll arrest him. If he's not, they'll stay with her until she decides what she wants to do next." Tyler's voice, small and scared, drifted across the room. "She won't press charges. She never does. She says she can't afford to, that Derek will get his brother to make sure she loses me in court. He says she's an unfit mother because she works nights at the casino." Bear stood and walked over to the couch, easing his large frame down beside the boy. "Tyler, listen to me. Things are different this time. This time, you're the witness. You called for help, and help came. The police will take your statement, and there are laws to protect you and your mother. Derek's brother being a lawyer doesn't make Derek above the law." "You don't understand," Tyler said, his voice breaking. "Every time the police come, Derek gets nicer for a while. He brings flowers, he apologizes, he promises to change. And my mom, she wants so bad to believe him. She says he's stressed about money, about his back pain, about his diabetes. She says he's not really like that. And then a few weeks go by and it starts again." The room fell silent. Every man there knew Tyler was describing a cycle as old as civilization itself, the pattern of abuse, remorse, honeymoon period, and escalation that trapped millions of victims. Before Bear could respond, the rumble of an engine announced a new arrival. Through the window, they could see an unmarked police car pulling into the lot. Officer Amanda Rodriguez stepped out, a woman in her early 30s with sharp eyes and an expression that suggested she'd seen too much of humanity's dark side. She was dressed in plain clothes, jeans and a Phoenix PD polo, but she carried herself with unmistakable authority. Bear met her at the door. They'd known each other for 8 years, ever since Amanda had joined the police force and been assigned to the neighborhood where the Desert Riders did most of their community outreach work. Over time, an unlikely partnership had formed. The bikers knew things the police didn't, saw things in the community that flew under official radar. Amanda had learned to trust Bear's information, and he'd learned to respect her commitment to actually helping people rather than just enforcing laws. "How is he?" Amanda asked quietly, glancing past Bear to where Tyler sat. "Physically, some cuts and scrapes, nothing serious. Emotionally." Bear shook his head. "He's been living in hell, been watching his mother get beat for who knows how long. And the stepfather, Derek Coleman, units got to the apartment 7 minutes ago, according to your dispatch. Derek was there. They arrested him for assault and domestic violence. Jennifer Matthews has visible injuries, facial trauma, defensive wounds on her arms. She's being taken to county for examination." Amanda's expression hardened. "Good. That's a start. But I need to talk to the boy. Get his statement while everything's fresh. Is he up for that?" "He's scared his mother will blame him," Bear said quietly. "Says she always takes Derek back." Then we need to make sure that doesn't happen this time, Amanda replied. Can I talk to him? Bear led her to the couch where Tyler sat. The boy looked up at Amanda with a mixture of hope and suspicion that broke her heart. She'd seen that look too many times. Children who'd learned not to trust adults, even adults in positions to help them. Hi, Tyler, Amanda said gently, pulling up a chair to sit at his eye level. My name is Amanda Rodriguez. I'm a police officer, but I'm also someone who helps kids and families in situations like yours. Can we talk for a few minutes? Tyler nodded slowly. For the next 30 minutes, Amanda walked Tyler through what had happened that afternoon. She asked questions carefully, never leading, always giving him time to answer in his own words. Tyler told her about the violence he'd witnessed, about previous incidents he'd seen over the past 3 years, about the time Derek had broken his mother's arm and the other time he'd put her in the hospital with a concussion that was blamed on a fall down the stairs. Tyler, you've been very brave, Amanda said when he finished. Braver than most adults I know. Running to get help, that was exactly the right thing to do. I want you to know that what Derek did to your mom, what he's been doing, that's a crime, a serious crime, and my job is to make sure he can't hurt either of you anymore. But his brother, Tyler started. Vincent Coleman has connections. That's true, Amanda interrupted gently. But he can't make evidence disappear. He can't erase your testimony or the medical reports from your mother's injuries. And here's something else Derek and his brother don't know. We've been building a case. The Phoenix PD has been tracking Derek Coleman for 18 months, ever since the bar incident Bear mentioned. Every time he's gotten away with something, it's been added to a file. Today was the last straw. Tyler's eyes widened. Really? Really, Amanda confirmed. Now, I know you're worried about your mum. I have officers with her right now at the hospital. And once she's cleared medically, a social worker's going to talk to her about her options. There are shelters, protection orders, programs to help her get back on her feet. She doesn't have to go back to that apartment. Neither of you do. She works at Talking Stick Casino, Tyler said quietly. Graveyard shift as a waitress. Derek always said she couldn't support us on her own, that we needed his money from disability. He said if she ever left him, we'd be homeless. Amanda made a note. That's a common tactic abusers use. They make their victims believe they can't survive without them. It's not true. There are resources, Tyler. Your mom has been working and supporting you for years. Derek was just taking credit for her hard work. The door to the clubhouse opened again, and this time a tall African-American man in his 50s entered, wearing a clerical collar under a casual button-down shirt. Tyler recognized him immediately, Pastor William Grant from New Hope Community Church, just 3 blocks from Tyler's apartment. The pastor had tried to talk to Jennifer several times when he'd seen her with bruises, but she'd always brushed him off. "Bear called me," Pastor Grant said, his voice warm and concerned as he approached Tyler. "Son, I'm glad you're safe. I've been praying for you and your mother for a long time." "You have?" Tyler asked. "Of course," the pastor replied. "When you see someone hurting, you don't forget about them. You just wait for the moment when you can help. That moment is now. My church runs a shelter program for families escaping domestic violence. We can provide a safe place for you and your mother to stay while she figures out her next steps. No charge, no strings attached, just a safe space and people who care." "I don't understand," Tyler said, looking around at all the adults who'd gathered to help him. "Why do you all care? You don't even know us." Bear knelt down in front of the couch, his weathered face serious. "Tyler, let me tell you something about the Desert Riders. Most people see our motorcycles and our leather and our tattoos, and they think we're trouble. Sometimes they're not wrong. We've all got pasts we're not proud of, but this club, it exists for a reason. We protect this community. We look out for people who can't look out for themselves. And when a little boy runs to us for help, we don't turn away. That's our code. Hawk spoke up from his seat at the table. I grew up watching my old man beat on my mom, Tyler. Every day for 15 years, until I was big enough to hit back. By then, it was too late. Mom was so broken down, she didn't remember who she used to be. She died when I was 19, and I always wondered if things would have been different if someone had stepped in. Someone like Bear did for you today. My sister, Bear added quietly, was killed by her boyfriend when she was 26. Restraining orders, police reports, nothing stopped him. He beat her to death in a parking lot while people walked by. That was 20 years ago, and I promised myself I'd never let that happen to anyone else if I could help it. So when you ran to us today, you gave us the chance to keep that promise. Tyler's eyes filled with tears again, but this time, understanding was dawning on his young face. These people weren't helping him out of obligation. They were helping because they'd been touched by the same kind of violence he'd witnessed. They understood. Amanda's phone rang. She answered it, listened for a moment, and then looked at Tyler with a gentle smile. Your mom is okay. She's asking for you. They're going to keep her at the hospital overnight for observation, but she's going to be fine. She wants me to tell you she's proud of you for being brave, and she's sorry she didn't protect you better. Tyler broke down sobbing, and Bear pulled the boy into a careful hug, letting him cry against his chest. It's okay, son. Let it out. You're safe now. You both are. An hour later, Tyler sat in the back of Amanda's car as she drove him to County Hospital. As they pulled out of the clubhouse parking lot, he looked back to see all 7 bikers standing in a line, watching until the car disappeared from view. Despite everything he'd been through, despite not knowing what came next, Tyler felt something he hadn't felt in 3 years, living with Derek Coleman. He felt safe. County Hospital's fluorescent lights hummed with a sterile persistence that made everything feel slightly unreal. Tyler walked down the corridor beside Amanda Rodriguez, his cleaned and bandaged feet moving silently on the polished linoleum. They'd given him a pair of foam hospital slippers that were 3 sizes too big, and he had to shuffle to keep them from falling off. Jennifer Matthews was in room 347, a semi-private space with the second bed empty and the curtain pulled back to let in the last rays of evening sunlight. She sat propped up against pillows, her face a landscape of trauma, left eye swollen nearly shut, a deep purple bruise spreading across her cheekbone, split lip held together with butterfly bandages. Her right arm was in a sling, and Tyler could see finger-shaped bruises on her neck. The moment Jennifer saw her son, her face crumpled. Tyler, oh baby, come here. Tyler ran to her bedside, and Jennifer pulled him into a careful one-armed embrace, mindful of her injuries. They both cried, clutching each other with the desperate relief of survivors emerging from a disaster. I'm so sorry, Mom, Tyler sobbed. I didn't know what else to do. He was hurting you so bad, and I was so scared. No, Jennifer interrupted firmly, her voice breaking. No, Tyler, you have nothing to apologize for, nothing. You saved us both. You were so brave, so smart. I should be apologizing to you. I should have gotten us out of there years ago. I should have protected you better. Amanda stood respectfully near the door, giving them space. After a few minutes, she cleared her throat gently. Mrs. Matthews, I'm Officer Amanda Rodriguez. We spoke briefly when you arrived. How are you feeling? Jennifer pulled back from Tyler, wiping her eyes with her good hand. Like I've been hit by a truck, but alive. The doctors say I have a fractured orbital bone, 3 cracked ribs, and multiple contusions. They want to keep me overnight to monitor the head injury. Derek is in custody, Amanda said. He's been booked on charges of aggravated assault, domestic violence, and child endangerment. His bail hearing is Monday morning. I need to be straight with you, Mrs. Matthews. His brother is already involved. Vincent Coleman arrived at the station an hour ago and is working to get Derek released. Jennifer's face went pale beneath the bruises. He'll get out. Vincent always gets him out. Maybe, Amanda acknowledged. But things are different this time. We have Tyler's statement. We have photographs of your injuries. We have Derek's truck on security camera at the gas station where he confronted the desert riders while looking for Tyler. And we have something else. A pattern that's been documented over 18 months. The district attorney's office has been waiting for a solid case against Derek Coleman, and today provided it. A social worker entered the room. A woman in her late 20s with kind eyes and an efficient manner. Mrs. Matthews, I'm Christine Parker. I work with the Family Advocacy Center. Officer Rodriguez called me in to discuss your options moving forward. Jennifer looked between the two women, her expression a mixture of hope and fear. I don't have many options. I can't afford an apartment on my own, not in Phoenix. Derek controlled all our money. I have maybe $800 in a secret account he doesn't know about. But that won't get us far. Christine pulled up a chair. Let's talk about what you do have, Mrs. Matthews. You have a steady job. You have a child who loves you. You have people in this community who want to help. Pastor William Grant from New Hope Community Church has offered you a place in their shelter program. It's a safe, confidential location where you and Tyler can stay for up to 6 months while you get back on your feet. They provide food, clothing, counseling services, and help with job placement and permanent housing. I already have a job, Jennifer protested. You have a graveyard shift waitressing job that pays minimum wage plus tips and requires you to leave your 11-year-old alone all night, Christine said gently but firmly. That's not sustainable, and Derek used it as leverage against you. The church works with local employers who are willing to provide better opportunities. There's an opening at a medical billing company, day shift, benefits, room for advancement. It pays $2 more per hour than you make now, and you'd be home with Tyler every evening. Jennifer's eyes widened. Why would they hire me? I have a high school diploma and casino experience. Because Pastor Grant vouches for families in his program, and these employers trust his judgment. You'd need to complete a 2-week training program, but they'll work with your schedule. The point is, Mrs. Matthews, you have more options than Derek let you believe. Tyler squeezed his mother's hand. Mom, please don't go back to him this time. I can't watch him hurt you anymore. I can't. Jennifer looked at her son's tear-streaked face, and something shifted in her expression. For 3 years, she'd convinced herself she was staying for Tyler's sake, that he needed stability, even if it meant enduring Derek's violence. But seeing the fear and pain in her child's eyes, she realized the truth she'd been avoiding. Tyler didn't need stability. He needed safety. He needed a mother who was strong enough to choose them both over the cycle of abuse. Okay, Jennifer whispered. Okay, we'll go to the shelter. We'll start over. Amanda let out a breath she hadn't realized she'd been holding. That's the right choice, Mrs. Matthews. Now there are some legal steps we need to take. First, we'll file for an emergency order of protection. That will legally prohibit Derek from coming near you or Tyler, contacting you by any means, or coming to your work or Tyler's school. Violating that order is a felony. He'll find a way around it, Jennifer said quietly. You don't know Derek. When he's fixated on something, he doesn't stop. Then he'll go to prison, Amanda replied flatly. Mrs. Matthews, I've been doing this job for 8 years. I know men like Derek Coleman. They're bullies who rely on fear and isolation to control their victims. Once you're in a protected environment, surrounded by people who won't be intimidated, he loses his power. Yes, he'll probably try something. That's why we'll be ready. There was a knock at the door. Bear Davidson stood in the hallway, looking oddly out of place in the sterile hospital environment with his leather vest and formidable presence. He held a teddy bear and a bag from a local burger place. Sorry to intrude, Bear said. Just wanted to check on the kid and drop off some dinner. Figured hospital food probably isn't too appealing. Tyler's face lit up. Bear! Jennifer tensed visibly, her instinct to be wary of the intimidating stranger. But Tyler was already off the bed, running to hug the big biker, and the way Bear's face softened as he carefully returned the embrace told Jennifer everything she needed to know. "Mrs. Matthews," Bear said, approaching the bed respectfully and extending his hand. "Name's Marcus Davidson. Everyone calls me Bear. Your boy is one of the bravest kids I've ever met. You should be proud." Jennifer shook his hand tentatively. "You're the one who helped him at the gas station. Officer Rodriguez told me. Thank you. I don't know how to thank you enough." "No thanks necessary," Bear replied. "Just glad we were there when he needed us. Listen, I know you've got a lot to process right now, but I want you to know the Desert Riders are going to keep an eye on your situation, not in a creepy way," he added with a slight smile. "But if Derek or anyone else tries to bother you, you call me. Amanda has my number. The whole club is on alert." "Why would you do that?" Jennifer asked, genuinely confused. "You don't know us." Bear glanced at Tyler, then back at Jennifer. "Let's just say I've got personal reasons for not tolerating men who hurt women and children. Your son ran to us for help. That makes you both part of our community now. We protect our community." Over the next hour, as Tyler ate the burger Bear had brought and the adults discussed logistics, a plan began to take shape. Jennifer would be discharged the following morning. Amanda would meet her with the signed emergency protection order. Pastor Grant would collect them and take them to the shelter, the location of which would remain confidential. Christine would coordinate with Jennifer's employer at Talking Stick Casino to arrange a leave of absence and eventual resignation, and would help her enroll in the training program for the medical billing position. Meanwhile, Derek would remain in custody through the weekend. His bail hearing Monday morning would determine whether he'd be released pending trial. Amanda was coordinating with the district attorney's office to argue for high bail or no bail, given the severity of the charges and Derek's history. As visiting hours drew to a close and Amanda prepared to take Tyler to a temporary foster placement for the night, Jennifer pulled her son close one more time. "I love you so much," she whispered. "I'm sorry I let things get this bad, but I promise you, Tyler, we're done being victims. Starting tomorrow, we fight back. We build a new life. We become who we're supposed to be." Tyler nodded against her shoulder. "I love you too, Mom." That night, as Tyler lay in an unfamiliar bed in a foster home run by a kind elderly couple who specialized in emergency placements, he replayed the day's events in his mind. 24 hours ago, he'd been living in fear, watching his mother suffer, feeling helpless and trapped. Now, everything had changed. He thought about Bear and the other bikers who'd stood between him and Derek. He thought about Amanda's determined expression when she promised they'd keep Derek away. He thought about Pastor Grant's offer of sanctuary and Christine's talk of new opportunities. Most of all, he thought about the look in his mother's eyes when she'd said they were done being victims. For the first time in 3 years, Tyler Matthews fell asleep, believing that tomorrow might actually be better than today. Monday morning arrived with the kind of scorching heat that made Phoenix feel like standing on the surface of the sun. By 8 a.m., the temperature had already climbed past 90 degrees, and the asphalt in the courthouse parking lot shimmered with heat waves. Inside the Maricopa County Superior Court, Amanda Rodriguez sat in the gallery of Courtroom 4C, reviewing her notes one final time. Derek Coleman's bail hearing was scheduled for 9 a.m., and she'd spent the weekend preparing to testify. Beside her sat Bear Davidson, who'd insisted on attending, and behind them, scattered throughout the gallery, were 6 other members of the Desert Riders MC. Their presence was quiet but unmistakable, a silent show of solidarity that hadn't gone unnoticed by the courthouse security. At 8:50 a.m., Derek Coleman was led into the courtroom in an orange jumpsuit, his wrists cuffed. 3 days in county jail had changed him visibly. His face was drawn, his usual swagger replaced by barely contained rage. His eyes scanned the gallery and widened when he saw the bikers. His jaw clenched. Vincent Coleman sat at the defense table, a sharp-dressed attorney in his early 40s with the kind of polished confidence that came from winning too many cases. He stood as Derek was seated and leaned in to whisper urgently to his brother. The prosecution was being handled by Assistant District Attorney Dr. Nathan Pierce, a somewhat unusual situation that Amanda had helped arrange. Dr. Pierce had a dual background, law degree from Arizona State and a PhD in clinical psychology with a specialization in family trauma. He'd built his career prosecuting domestic violence cases and had a particular reputation for being relentless. Judge Margaret Chen entered the courtroom, and everyone rose. Judge Chen was known as a no-nonsense jurist who'd spent 15 years on the bench and had little patience for legal games. She took her seat, reviewed the file briefly, and looked up. "We're here for a bail hearing in the matter of State of Arizona versus Derek Michael Coleman. Mr. Coleman faces charges of aggravated assault, domestic violence, child endangerment, and intimidation. Mr. Coleman, you're represented by your attorney, Vincent Coleman. Any relation?" "My brother, Your Honor," Vincent said smoothly. "Noted. Mr. Pierce, you're arguing against bail?" "Yes, Your Honor." Nathan Pierce stood, his voice measured. "The state believes Mr. Coleman presents a clear and present danger to the victims in this case and to the community. We're requesting he be held without bail pending trial." Vincent was on his feet immediately. "Your Honor, that's excessive. My client has strong ties to the community, no prior felony convictions, and is willing to surrender his passport and submit to electronic monitoring. This case is being blown out of proportion due to a single regrettable incident." "A single regrettable incident," Judge Chen interrupted, flipping through the file, "that resulted in the victim suffering a fractured orbital bone, 3 broken ribs, and injuries consistent with strangulation. That caused an 11-year-old child to flee his home in fear for his life? Mr. Coleman, that's quite a regret." "The full context, Your Honor," Vincent pressed, "shows a domestic dispute that escalated. My client and Ms. Matthews have a complicated relationship history. There were allegations, which were never proven, that Ms. Matthews has substance abuse issues." "Objection," Nathan Pierce said sharply. "Defense is attempting to smear the victim with unsubstantiated claims. There is zero evidence of substance abuse, and this is a transparent attempt to blame the victim for her own assault." "Sustained," Judge Chen said. "Mr. Coleman, stick to facts relevant to bail determination." Amanda watched as Vincent regrouped, pulling out a different strategy. "Your Honor, my client is a disabled veteran who receives monthly disability benefits. He has significant medical needs, including diabetes management and chronic back pain. The jail facility is not equipped to provide adequate medical care." "Mr. Coleman," Judge Chen said, looking at Derek, "did you serve in the military?" Derek hesitated, then muttered, "National Guard, 6 months active before a medical discharge." "4," the judge pressed. "Back injury during basic training," Derek admitted. Judge Chen made a note. "So not a combat veteran, and your disability benefits are for that injury?" "And diabetes," Vincent interjected. "Type 2 requires daily medication and monitoring." "The jail has a medical unit, Mr. Coleman," the judge said dryly. "They're equipped to handle diabetes. Mr. Pierce, call your first witness." Amanda took the stand and was sworn in. For the next 20 minutes, she walked the court through Derek's history, the bar fight arrest that had been dismissed, 2 prior domestic violence investigations that hadn't led to charges, multiple 911 calls from neighbors reporting shouting and sounds of violence from the Coleman-Matthews apartment. "Officer Rodriguez," Nathan Pierce asked, "in your professional opinion, based on 8 years as a domestic violence specialist, Does Derek Coleman present a danger to Jennifer Matthews and Tyler Matthews if released? Absolutely, Amanda replied without hesitation. The pattern of escalating violence, the victim's fear, the child's testimony, all of it points to a high-risk situation. Statistically, the period immediately after a victim leaves an abuser is when they're in the greatest danger. If Mr. Coleman is released, I have no doubt he will attempt to contact Ms. Matthews. And based on the severity of this assault, I believe that contact could be fatal. Vincent Coleman's cross-examination tried to paint Amanda as biased, suggesting her friendship with the Desert Riders MC, a known criminal organization, compromised her objectivity. Amanda remained calm, pointing out that the Desert Riders had no criminal charges pending against any member and were registered as a legitimate motorcycle club that did extensive community service work. The next witness was Dr. Sarah Mitchell, the emergency room physician who treated Jennifer. She described the injuries in clinical detail that made several people in the gallery wince. The pattern of injuries, Dr. Mitchell testified, is consistent with repeated sustained assault. The bruising on the victim's arms shows classic defensive wounds. The strangulation mark suggests the attacker was in a homicidal rage. If the victim's son hadn't intervened when he did, I believe we would be looking at a very different outcome. Are you saying, Nathan Pierce asked, that you believe this assault could have been fatal? I'm saying that strangulation, even non-fatal strangulation, increases the likelihood that an abuser will eventually kill their victim by 7 times. Yes, Mr. Coleman was trying to kill Ms. Matthews. Whether he would have succeeded, we'll never know. But the intent was there. The courtroom was silent for a moment. Even Vincent Coleman seemed at a loss for words. The final witness was Christine Parker, the social worker. She testified about her conversations with Jennifer Matthews, about the fear that had kept Jennifer trapped in the relationship, about Derek's systematic financial and psychological control. Ms. Matthews told me, Christine said, that Derek frequently threatened that if she ever left, he would kill her and make sure Tyler ended up in foster care. He told her no one would believe her, that his brother would destroy her in court, that she was worthless without him. This is textbook psychological abuse designed to maintain power and control. When the testimony concluded, Judge Chen sat back and was silent for a long moment, studying Derek Coleman. Mr. Coleman, do you have anything to say on your own behalf? Derek looked at his brother, who nodded. He stood, his voice carefully modulated. Your Honor, I love Jennifer and Tyler. I made a terrible mistake. I was drinking, I lost my temper, and I hurt someone I care about. I take full responsibility. All I'm asking for is a chance to get help, to prove I can change. If you release me on bail, I'll enter an anger management program, attend AA, whatever the court requires. I just want to make this right. It was a good performance, Amanda thought. Contrite, humble, just the right amount of emotion. She'd seen abusers give similar speeches 100 times. Judge Chen, however, looked unimpressed. Mr. Coleman, the judge said, I've presided over domestic violence cases for 15 years. I've heard every version of that speech. The problem is, I've also presided over too many funerals. I've seen what happens when men like you get released on bail, when they promise to change and then violate protective orders. I've stood in my courtroom and read the names of women who died because the system gave their abusers one more chance. She paused, letting her words sink in. The evidence before me shows a pattern of escalating violence. It shows a victim who feared for her life. It shows a child so terrified that he ran barefoot through triple-digit heat seeking help from strangers. And it shows a defendant who, when confronted at that gas station, didn't ask if his stepson was okay. He demanded to know where the boy was so he could retrieve him. That tells me everything I need to know about your priorities, Mr. Coleman. Your Honor. Vincent Coleman started to stand, but the judge held up her hand. Bail is denied. Mr. Coleman, you will remain in custody pending trial. I'm also issuing an emergency order of protection prohibiting any contact, direct or indirect, with Jennifer Matthews or Tyler Matthews. That includes through third parties. If I hear that you've had anyone contact them on your behalf, I will add witness intimidation to your charges. Do you understand? Derek's face went red. This is bullshit. You can't. One more word, Judge Chen said coldly, and I'll add contempt of court to your charges. Bailiff, remove the defendant. As Derek was led from the courtroom, shouting obscenities, Amanda felt a weight lift from her chest. It wasn't over. There would still be a trial, and Vincent Coleman would undoubtedly mount a vigorous defense. But for now, Jennifer and Tyler were safe. In the hallway outside the courtroom, Bear approached Amanda. That judge doesn't mess around. Judge Chen has seen too much, Amanda replied. She saved more lives than anyone will ever know by being willing to hold abusers accountable. Nathan Pierce joined them, loosening his tie. Good testimony, Amanda, but this is just round one. Vincent Coleman is going to come at us hard at trial. We need the victims to stay strong, and we need to anticipate every angle he'll use to discredit them. Jennifer is ready, Amanda said. For the first time in 3 years, she has hope. She's not going to let Derek take that away from her. And Tyler, Nathan asked. That kid is tougher than most adults I know, Bear interjected. He'll testify when the time comes, and he'll tell the truth. That's all you need. As they walked out of the courthouse into the brutal Phoenix heat, Amanda's phone rang. It was Jennifer, calling from the shelter. Officer Rodriguez? I just wanted to say thank you. Christine told me what happened at the hearing. Derek's staying in jail. Until trial, Amanda confirmed. Could be several months, but yes, he's not getting out. There was a long pause, and then Jennifer's voice, barely a whisper. I can breathe. For the first time in years, I can actually breathe. Amanda smiled. That's just the beginning, Jennifer. Now comes the part where you and Tyler build your new life. And you're not doing it alone. You've got a whole team behind you. I'm starting the training program tomorrow, Jennifer said, her voice stronger now. And Tyler enrolled in a new school closer to the shelter. He's scared, but he's excited too. He keeps saying he feels safe. Good, Amanda replied. That's how it should feel. Keep feeling that way. You've earned it. As Amanda ended the call, Bear gestured to where the other desert riders were gathered by their motorcycles. We're doing a ride-by of the shelter later, just to let Jennifer and Tyler know we're still around. Not hovering, just present. Appreciated, Amanda said. Just don't scare the other residents. Bear grinned. We'll be on our best behavior, Scout's honor. As the bikers roared off on their motorcycles and Amanda headed back to her car, Nathan Pierce stood on the courthouse steps, looking out over the city. The real work was just beginning. Derek Coleman might be in jail, but there were thousands more like him out there, thousands more families trapped in cycles of violence. But today, at least, one family had gotten free. And sometimes, Nathan thought, you had to celebrate the small victories, because they were the only things standing between hope and despair. 3 months later, autumn had finally begun to ease Phoenix's brutal heat. The November mornings brought temperatures in the 60s, and the desert landscape transformed into something almost beautiful. Tyler Matthews sat in his new classroom at Desert Springs Elementary, actually paying attention to his math teacher's explanation of fractions. It was a strange feeling, being able to concentrate on school. For 3 years, he'd been the kid who couldn't focus, who fell asleep in class, whose grades had steadily declined as life at home became unbearable. His teachers at his old school had labeled him a problem student, never looking deep enough to see the real problem. Here, everything was different. He'd made friends, real friends, who invited him over to their houses and didn't ask too many questions about why he'd switched schools mid-semester. His teacher, Mr. Robert Hayes, had taken a special interest in him, having been briefed by the school counselor about Tyler's situation. Mr. Hayes had a gift for making kids feel seen, and Tyler had blossomed under the attention. After school, Tyler walked 3 blocks to the New Hope Community Center, where his mother now worked. Jennifer had completed her medical billing training and had been hired full-time by Southwest Medical Associates. The job paid better than the casino, came with health insurance, and best of all, day shift hours that meant she could be home with Tyler every evening. "Mom!" Tyler called out as he entered the community center's main hall. Jennifer looked up from where she was helping organize donated clothing and broke into a smile that still looked unfamiliar on her healing face. The bruises had faded over the weeks, but more importantly, the constant tension and fear that had lived in her eyes for 3 years had disappeared. "Hey, baby, how was school?" "Mr. Hayes says I'm catching up fast in math, and I got picked for the soccer team tryouts next week." Tyler's excitement was genuine, the kind of normal 11-year-old enthusiasm that had been buried under years of trauma. Jennifer pulled him into a hug. "That's wonderful. We'll have to get you some cleats." "We can afford that?" Tyler asked, the question revealing how deeply Derek's financial manipulation had affected them both. "We can," Jennifer said firmly. "I got my first paycheck yesterday, remember? We're doing okay, Tyler. Better than okay." It was true. Living at the shelter meant their expenses were minimal while they saved for a deposit on their own apartment. Jennifer's new job paid enough that within 6 months they'd be able to move into a modest 2-bedroom place. It wouldn't be fancy, but it would be theirs, safe, free. As they walked home together, a 20-minute stroll through a neighborhood where children played outside without supervision and neighbors greeted each other warmly, Tyler saw the familiar sight of motorcycles parked outside the shelter. The Desert Riders had become a fixture in their lives, checking in regularly, but never intrusively. Bear was sitting on his bike, talking with Pastor Grant. When he saw Tyler and Jennifer, his weathered face creased into a smile. "There's my favorite kid. Tyler, heard you made the soccer tryouts. That's outstanding." "How did you know that?" Tyler asked, laughing. "Small community," Bear said with a wink. "People talk." "Listen, I wanted to let you both know. Derek's trial is scheduled for January 15th. Nathan Pierce called me this morning. He's confident they've got a strong case." Jennifer's smile faded slightly, but she nodded. "We'll be ready to testify, both of us." "That's all anyone can ask," Bear said gently. "And no matter what happens in that courtroom, you two have already won. You got out. You're building a new life. Derek's already lost everything that matters." Over the following weeks, as autumn deepened into winter and Phoenix enjoyed its most pleasant weather, life developed a rhythm that felt almost surreal in its normalcy. Tyler excelled at school, making the soccer team and discovering a talent for art that his teacher encouraged. Jennifer thrived at her job, earning praise from her supervisors and making friends among her co-workers. They attended counseling sessions twice a week, individual and family therapy, working through the trauma they'd endured. The Desert Riders organized a Thanksgiving dinner at the clubhouse, inviting all the families from the shelter. Tyler sat between Bear and Hawk, listening to stories about motorcycle trips and feeling, for the first time in his memory, what it was like to be part of a community that cared. "Bear," Tyler said during a quiet moment, "why do you do all this? The shelter visits, helping people like us, all of it?" Bear was quiet for a moment, his fork pausing over his plate. "You remember I told you about my sister?" Tyler nodded. "Her name was Rebecca. She was smart, funny, full of life. And she fell in love with a man who seemed perfect at first. By the time she realized what he really was, she was trapped. Just like your mom was trapped. She tried to leave 3 times. 3 times the system failed her. The 4th time she tried, he killed her in the parking lot of her apartment building. She was 2 blocks from a police station." Tyler's eyes filled with tears. "I'm sorry." "Don't be sorry, kiddo. Just be grateful you had the courage to run when you did. You saved your mom's life and your own. Rebecca didn't have someone brave enough to ask for help, but because of her, I made a promise that I'd help other people in her situation. The Desert Riders, we're not angels. We've all got histories we're not proud of, but we try to do right by people who need us. That's our code." "She'd be proud of you," Tyler said quietly. Bear's eyes glistened. "Thanks, son. That means more than you know." Christmas came with unexpected joy. The community center hosted a party where Tyler received gifts from the Desert Riders: a new bike, art supplies, soccer equipment. Jennifer cried when Pastor Grant handed her an envelope containing donations from church members, enough money to cover the deposit and first month's rent on an apartment they'd found. "We can't accept this," Jennifer protested weakly. "You can, and you will," Pastor Grant said firmly. "This community invested in you because we believe in you. Now you pay it forward someday when you're able. That's how this works." On January 15th, a cold Tuesday morning unusual for Phoenix, Jennifer and Tyler walked into the same courthouse where Derek's bail hearing had been held. This time, they weren't alone. Bear and 3 other Desert Riders sat in the gallery. Amanda Rodriguez was there in uniform. Pastor Grant and Christine Parker sat together. Even Mr. Hayes, Tyler's teacher, had taken the day off to show support. Derek was led in, wearing a suit his brother had brought, looking thinner and harder than Tyler remembered. When Derek's eyes found them in the courtroom, Tyler instinctively moved closer to his mother. But this time, there was no terror, just resolve. The trial lasted 3 days. Jennifer testified first, her voice steady as she described years of abuse, the escalating violence, her fear for herself and her son. She didn't cry. She didn't apologize. She simply told the truth. Tyler's testimony came on day 2. Nathan Pierce had prepared him carefully, but even so, sitting in the witness box with Derek staring at him was one of the hardest things he'd ever done. But then he looked out at the gallery and saw Bear give him a small nod of encouragement. He saw his mother's face, proud and strong, and he found his voice. He told the jury about the afternoon that changed everything, about running barefoot through scorching heat, terrified and desperate. About the moment he saw the motorcycles and made the decision to ask strangers for help. About Bear kneeling beside him and promising he was safe. Vincent Coleman tried to shake his testimony on cross-examination, suggesting Tyler was exaggerating, that he was a dramatic child who misunderstood a simple family argument. But Tyler held firm. "He was killing her," Tyler said clearly. "I saw it, and I wasn't going to let him finish." The jury deliberated for 6 hours. When they returned, the verdict was unanimous: guilty on all counts. Derek Coleman was sentenced to 12 years in prison with no possibility of parole for the first 8 years. As the bailiff led Derek away, he turned and shouted back at Jennifer, "This isn't over, you hear me? This isn't..." Judge Chen's gavel came down hard. "Remove the defendant, now." Outside the courthouse, Jennifer collapsed into tears, not of sadness, but of profound relief. Tyler held his mother while she sobbed, and around them their community formed a protective circle. "It's over," Amanda said quietly. "It's really over. You're free." Jennifer looked up, her face wet with tears, but transformed by something that looked like peace. "We're free," she repeated, as if testing the words. "Tyler, we're actually free." 6 months later, on a summer evening when the desert heat had finally broken, Tyler and Jennifer sat on the small patio of their new apartment. It was a modest place in a safe neighborhood, with 2 bedrooms, a functional kitchen, and windows that let in the Arizona sunshine. The walls were covered with Tyler's artwork, and the refrigerator was decorated with his report card: straight B's with 2 A's. Jennifer worked day shift at the medical billing company and had recently been promoted to supervisor. Tyler had just finished 6th grade with a near-perfect attendance record and had made the select soccer team. They attended therapy less frequently now, once a month instead of twice a week, and the nightmares that had plagued them both in the early months had gradually faded. The Desert Riders still checked in, but now it was as friends rather than protectors. Bear had taught Tyler basic motorcycle maintenance, a skill the boy discovered he loved. Hawk and his wife Maria had become like an aunt and uncle, hosting Tyler for sleepovers when Jennifer needed time to herself. "Mom," Tyler said, watching the sunset paint the sky in shades of orange and purple, "do you ever think about before?" "Sometimes," Jennifer admitted, "but not the way I used to. I used to think about it with shame, wondering what I could have done differently. Now I think about it as a reminder of how strong we are. We survived, Tyler. We didn't just survive. We thrived. I'm proud of you," Tyler said quietly, "for leaving, for being brave enough to start over." Jennifer pulled her son close. "I'm proud of you too, for running to those bikers that day, for trusting your instincts. You saved us both, you know that?" "We saved each other," Tyler corrected. That weekend, the Desert Riders hosted their annual summer barbecue at the clubhouse. Tyler ran around with the other kids, playing and laughing, while Jennifer sat with a group of other women who'd been through the shelter program. They'd formed their own support group, meeting monthly to share victories and challenges, to remind each other they weren't alone. Bear stood at the grill, flipping burgers and watching Tyler play. Amanda wandered over with a cold drink. "That's a success story right there," she said, gesturing to Tyler and Jennifer. "One of many," Bear replied. "How many families have we helped now through the shelter program?" 43 since we started partnering with Pastor Grant," Amanda said. "Not all of them end as well as this one, but most of them get free. That's what matters." "Rebecca would have liked them," Bear said quietly. "Jennifer and Tyler would have liked knowing her story helped other people. She'd be proud of you, Bear. What you've built here, the lives you've changed, it's a hell of a legacy." As the sun set over the Phoenix desert and the barbecue wound down, Tyler found himself standing next to Bear by the motorcycles. The big biker put a hand on the boy's shoulder. "You doing okay, kid?" "Better than okay," Tyler said. "Bear, I wanted to ask you something. When I'm old enough, could I join the Desert Riders?" "Not now, obviously. But someday?" Bear smiled, but his eyes were serious. "This club isn't for everyone, Tyler. It's a commitment, a brotherhood, a way of life. But you know what? If you grow up and you still feel that pull, if you understand what we stand for and you want to be part of it, then yeah, we'd be proud to have you. Your courage that day at the gas station, that's exactly the kind of heart we look for." Tyler beamed. "I won't let you down. You never have, son. You never could." As the Matthews family drove home that night, Jennifer glanced in the rearview mirror at Tyler, who was drowsing in the back seat, exhausted from playing all day. She thought about the journey they'd taken, from that terrible apartment where fear had been their constant companion, through the desperate moment when Tyler ran for help, to this new life where peace and safety was simply normal. She thought about the people who'd helped them, Bear and the Desert Riders, who'd stood between them and danger. Amanda Rodriguez, who'd fought to keep them safe. Pastor Grant and Christine Parker, who'd provided sanctuary and resources. Nathan Pierce, who'd ensured Derek faced justice. Mr. Hayes and all the teachers who'd helped Tyler heal and grow. The community that had wrapped around them like armor. But most of all, she thought about Tyler's courage. An 11-year-old boy who'd made an impossible decision in an impossible moment, who'd trusted his instincts and run towards strangers covered in leather and tattoos, because somewhere deep inside, he'd known they would help. That night, as Jennifer tucked Tyler into bed in his own room in their own safe apartment, she kissed his forehead and whispered, Thank you for saving us." Tyler, half asleep, mumbled, "We saved each other, Mom." That's what families do. And in that moment, Jennifer knew with absolute certainty that whatever had come before, whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together. They were survivors. They were fighters. They were free. The boy who'd run in tears to a group of bikers had found not just rescue, but a community. The mother who'd felt trapped and helpless had discovered her own strength. And the motorcycle club that most people crossed the street to avoid had proven that sometimes the most unexpected heroes are the ones who matter most. Their story was one of darkness transformed into light, of fear replaced by hope, of victims becoming survivors. It was a reminder that courage comes in all forms. Sometimes it's a frightened child running barefoot through the heat. Sometimes it's a broken woman choosing to testify. Sometimes it's a group of bikers standing between evil and innocence. But always, always, it's the decision to believe that tomorrow can be better than today. That was the lesson Tyler and Jennifer Matthews carried forward into their new life. And it was a lesson they would share with others who needed to hear it. No matter how dark the night, no matter how impossible escape seems, there are people who will help. You just have to be brave enough to ask. Did this story touch your heart in any way? Have you or someone you know experienced the darkness of domestic violence and found the courage to seek help? Tyler's bravery and Jennifer's strength remind us that it's never too late to choose freedom and that communities can come together to protect the vulnerable. If this story resonated with you, please leave a comment below sharing your thoughts. Hit that like button, share this video with someone who needs to hear this message of hope, and subscribe to our channel for more powerful, true-to-life stories that celebrate courage, resilience, and the human spirit. Your support helps us continue sharing stories that matter. Remember, if you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, help is available. Call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233. You are not alone, and you deserve to be safe.